I would say, frankly, Leonard is, first of all, I'm a man of God, and I'm a philanthropist. I'm a CEO. Um, I'm a family man, and I also do career development, and I also into security analysis. That is what I can say. My career started quite early. Because of the level of independence I wanted to create. So around about 1997, 98, I wrote into CIFA's Computer Training Center, whereas I was a teaching assistant later. I started teaching all the various Microsoft Office suites, including CorelDRAW. I was teaching workers from various institutions in Excel, graphic designing. Then I migrated into the UK. Whereas I was in school full time, but then I had to work at the same time as well. So I work as a bar waiting staff. I work as a kitchen porter. The kitchen porter literally pays my transportation TNT to college. And then the refuse collection actually pays me 50 pounds in a week, which was my 1 week's rent. So on Thursdays, I would do the refuse collection. And then during the weekdays, I would just do from 6 p.m. up to 5:45 a.m., get myself ready at the hotel, head back to college, and then basically go and do finish school, come and do my bar waiting stuff. That pays for my transportation whilst I use this to pay for my rent as well. Then I got a job. My first retail outlet job was in Specsavers, whereby I was an optician assistant. So I had to assist people in choosing frames for the lenses for their faces, and worked there for a period of time, and then got a second job at British Home Stores as a customer service rep. I was still in school full time, but I realized the bar waiting staff and then the kitchen porter couldn't sustain that. So I managed to get a retail job. So between these two jobs, I started working for a period of time that pays through my tuition. And then afterwards, I moved into, I got an employment in the Job Center Plus, which is the Department of Work and Pensions, as a job seeker advisor. So I worked there for a couple of years, then got a part-time job in a TV station called an Auction World Television, whereby I was a call center waiting staff. So in between this, I was still in school. At the same time, I only have Sundays to actually rest, do my groceries, my cooking, and prepare myself for the week. Because within the week, I couldn't have time to balance anything of that sort. So finally, I did a career change and then work as a database analyst for NHS, whereby once again it was all the opticians, their free vouchers have to be keyed into the database, a 12-hour shift non-stop. And I worked there for also a couple of years, and I have to migrate and got my first break doing a proper job as a recruitment coordinator for MediChoice Healthcare, whereas my career kind of took shape. Due to my customer service background and a retail background, it was easier for me to migrate into the corporate, or let me say the recruitment industry. So I work in MediChoice for so many years doing recruitment for care workers, for nurses, for MediChoice. Then I decided to take a step further and wrote a course in risk assessment. So I qualified for a trainer's course as a risk assessor, manual handling, first aid, and food and hygiene, whereby I started developing into training. So I was training people how to conduct risk assessment in client and resident homes, manual handling, and then also food and hygiene. So we did that for a couple of years, almost about 4 years, and I got bored with it, and I wanted a different experience. So my passion has always been real estate. So I migrated into the real estate industry, whereas I was working as an estate agent, whereby we find people that want to buy houses, which was strictly commission-based. But right before the estate agent, I had to take a side job selling perfumes. So to build my sales strength and capacity, and it was not easy passing through the winter, the snow, trying to sell perfumes, knocking on people's doors to sell perfumes. So then I ran into a lady who taught me into real estate as an estate agent. So start looking for people that want to buy houses, want to rent houses. And the commission was good, better than my basic. So I worked with her for 2 years. And then I started my career as self-employed. So around about 2006, 2007, I became self-employed, whereby I had my real estate company in the UK, whereas we used to buy houses, convert them into an apartment, and then also do rental, do a couple of sales. Then for so many years, I loved the real estate, but then I wanted to do something different. I started writing my own programs, some other things that I want to branch into, because at that time I've gained so much experiences that I wanted to explore to the height of my career. So then I decided to enroll in security. And in 2009 was actually my first time in Ghana. Then realized security was a huge deficit in the country. So went back, wrote a concept, came back. We realized the system was not ready. So at the same time I was still working, I still had my company going. By then I had two companies then running side by side, doing the real estate and also doing the training at the same time. So came to Ghana, and then finally we started the security company. Run both the security company, the estate agent, and then the capacity building company at the same time. And then decide to take a step further and then major in security analysis, firearm training in bits and pieces. And that has been the height of my career all these years. There were moments whereby, as naive as I was, I fell into a deficit of my credit card whereby bailiff entered my entire room, including my boxer shorts, bits and pieces. And you still have to make it to work, because if not, your landlord is going to kick you out. And things like, I'm sorry, give me time, those things were not applicable in there. And then to actually find a very quality work to do as an African, with a strong African accent was not easy. So to break through the industry whereby you get either a retail or a corporate institution was not easy. So like I said, the refuse collection, and by the time you go, I mean, it's snow and you're walking between people's houses and you have to collect the refuse and dump into their car. And it's a 10-hour, £5 an hour. So that £50 will pay your rent. You have to be in school at the same time because you're on a student visa. So you can't afford not to be in school. And by the time you come back, your whole side, you can't feel anything. So you have to use a hot water bottle to actually squeeze it to the side, take a couple of painkillers and still get ready for lectures the following day. So yes, it was not easy. At some point in my life, I just thought, I just had enough. I can't do it. I can't make it. But you look at where your vision is, where you intend to be. And if you decide not to make it, who's going to make it for you? So you just have to chin up and then get on with it. So yes, I have some pretty much difficult moments in my life. Wow, this is a very interesting subject, and it's one of my favorite areas as well. Why I would say Africa, and then I'll narrow it down to Ghana, we should improve on cyber. Because the world is evolving, crime is evolving, things are changing every single day. Now, everything about us is AI, artificial intelligence. We can't use the same system of combating crime that used to be in 20 years ago. If you look in Ghanaian history, as far as crime is concerned, in the olden days, about 20, 25 years ago, people leave their doors unlocked because of the fear of going to somebody's house to actually go and steal something. The most experienced crime or higher crime that can be committed at that time is literally either people going to their farm, steal cassava, and then if they upgraded, steal goat. Things like armed robbery was in there, cyber, online frauding was in there, and things have changed. Unfortunately, Africa was still behind technology, in my opinion, because the Western upgraded in technology as early as the 80s. Africa is just, or Ghana is just trying to catch up. And we are failing in terms of cybersecurity because we're still using the old system of combating crime, forgetting that now people have sidearms, they have firearms, they have the fastest cars, they have the sophisticated phones, they have technology within their domain to commit a very intelligent robberies, if I should put it that way. So if Africa don't catch up, if Africa don't invest in a new generation up and coming into technology, we'll find ourselves in slavery. Cyberbullying. Well, I mean, it comes once again. If we don't equip ourselves, bullying will be around. We've been bullied from school era, so the word bullying is more or less part of our day-to-day life. But is the extent in which we control it will determine whether we're losing control of it or we have control of it. So for cyberbullying, if we have various infrastructure set in place, then we can curb it. I'll give you an example. In China, you can't use certain applications, things like your YouTube, things like your Facebook, unless sometimes you come down to Hong Kong, then you can have access to it. Why? Because the government has infrastructures that controls what the citizenry have to do. Okay, if we don't equip ourselves with this, it will become a topic that gets discussed every single day, and we're not going to see a daylight of it. I mean, it all boils down to the same thing, having the infrastructures in place and also having an institution that deals with. I'll give you an example. In a recent moment, there was a nudity segment within. It should not really take the public to cry about it, to make noise about it, for the state to react towards it. We need to have the infrastructures in place. We need to have a segment of institution. Their job is to monitor sites we go in, content that get posted, and then sometimes automatically block those content, and depend on the severity of that content, and basically bring the perpetrators into book. In Africa, in Ghana, we don't have such infrastructure. And once again, that is the danger that we find ourselves in a sense that we have pedophiles within the system. How do we track those people? In the Western, any site you go, whatever the content that you post, your IP address, your location is instantly identified. You were instantly arrested, and then you can bring to book. So even though it exists, it's still ongoing, it's controlled, it's kept. And Africa will need to, unfortunately, we are 10 years behind catching up, and we have to catch up really fast. My last words will be, everything African we want to do, everything in Ghana we want to do, everything that the youth want to do, understand is possible. Okay? Your only limitation is yourself. Okay, anything you visualize, anything you dream, anything you want to become, you have the power to become that. It might take you a bit longer to get there, but it's doable, it's achievable, and it's practical.